phone.
Well, good morning, everybody. It is the morning after. Ugh, I'm doing a big J this morning. Excuse me.
Joe Kenda, what are you talking about?
It's true. That is true, Joe Kenda. Good morning, everybody. It is the morning after with Nick and Big J. Welcome to Wednesday. Hey, it's the 30th day of October, the day prior to Halloween, Big J.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing tomorrow?
Handing out candy, I guess. The wife made a Costco run yesterday.
Okay.
Brought a bunch of candy and a couple of the big bars.
Oh, well, you have said this before. This is a holiday tradition on your street that you end up giving out the good stuff. You want to make sure kids know that if you're headed to Big J's house, you're not going to get these snack-size BS. You're getting
we have
the real
those
deal.
too.
Oh.
They're not just all... I mean, we're very, discriminatory of who we give those to.
How
I
do you
don't know. That's a great question. I don't know how it's going to work because the wife has to work tonight. You know, Lincoln, the dog, he likes to bark at a leaf flying in the front yard.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting.
But you are not the one handing out candy then?
I don't know for sure. Maybe
Okay.
I am. I mean, unless somebody else is around. I mean, Mason might have to work. I don't know what's going on yet.
In years past, who got the big candy bars?
Well, in years past, some years we would have all candy bars, like all full-size ones. Then we would have Play-Doh, and it just so there's been a lot of. I don't know who makes those decisions. It's not me.
It's over your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
no,
I mean, I just don't care to make it. I mean, it's not like I involve myself.
Yeah, what do you care about Halloween or trick-or-treating? You got other stuff to
It's
do,
not
right?
my problem.
No. I mean, it sounded like you wanted to make it your problem when I asked you what you were doing, and
No,
then
I
you
was just
realized
telling
you
you
didn't
what
care.
the household is doing.
Well, no, I asked what you were doing for Halloween, and
Oh,
you
I
said
don't
handing
know.
out candy, and then you're
Probably.
like, I don't want to do anything, and I don't have anything to do with it. I'm like, well, then you're really not handing out candy, are you?
Here's the thing. I haven't been told what I'm doing yet.
I see. No. I have come to learn that there are no decisions made by you. There are things that you are told to do, and either you do
I
them or
make
you
the
do not.
decision to allow that to happen.
No, I mean, you ultimately make the decision whether or not it gets done, but you don't control anything that you do. It's just what happens is what either
I
you're
decide
told to
if
do.
I want to do that or not.
Right, but there must be some instructions given. Otherwise, there will be no action taken. You just decide whether or not there is an action taken.
And then if I agree with that, you're like, all right, I'll go ahead and agree and go ahead and do that.
Sometimes you'll do things you don't agree with, though.
Yeah.
So even that's
So
not
that
an
other
indicator.
people will do things they don't agree with as well.
And how does that work out?
Pretty good
All right,
sometimes.
good.
It's called the marriage negotiation.
I will say this. One thing that I have done the last couple of years, and you can steal this idea, ladies and gentlemen of the Treasure Valley, if you like, is I also, one of the things that I have with Cash, because he's nonverbal autistic, is a ton of fidget toys, like the toys that go along with it that are handheld usually, that are safe for kids of all ages. And I will also sprinkle those in and ask them if they want a toy as well with the candy. And so as they come to the door, I will hand out things, and sometimes,
Would they always say yes?
Yes, almost always, which is why I think it's a really good thing. So I have like little toys, and I have candy. So each child that comes of a certain age, teenagers obviously aren't going to care about these fidget toys, but there are other people, the smaller kids especially, that really do enjoy getting a toy along with their candy. And you can buy like 80 of them on Amazon for like $16. So it's a good deal.
You're the OM. Are they 94.9 the river widget?
No, they're not. They're not like fidget spinners.
They're not the fidget spinners
no.
from the remote.
No, they're not. They're not branded, kind of things. They're just general fidget toys that kids can have as well.
Leftover radio stations from the past, like J105 stuff.
J105 pens and pieces of paper. No, it's not. It's not none of that. It's actual,
because that's a good idea too.
Yeah, it is, to get rid of your stash. That we leave that up to Ian. He'll take care of that. I'm sure he has access to all that now. But it is a good idea. It has become a hit over the last couple of years, and it is something that I enjoy doing as well.
It is a good idea.
It is, and there are kids that come that that I know, neighbor kids that also are on the spectrum, and so they have really enjoyed that, and it is something that makes me happy, and it feels like I'm doing something a little bit extra. So it's a nice little bonus if you feel like doing that tomorrow.
That's awesome.
It is a recommendation. We were so busy we didn't get to what we're going to do today, but you know what? Let's let it be a surprise to people.
Find out. Stick around.
None of your business what we're doing today. But we are playing Alice in Chains. It's Man in the Box on the X.
Man, she a legend.
S. Important stuff.
What's going on in the news today?
The morning after with Nick and Big J.
Big Big day yesterday for the Treasure Valley YMCA, a massive new center for family recreation and resources. Broke ground yesterday. $80 million facility is going to offer more critical resources to the growing community. It'll be right across the street from the current YMCA, which has been a lifeline of the community since 1968, Big J, back before you were just a twinkle in your dad's eye.
The YMCA.
But it was in need of about $20 million in repairs, so the new project has been in the pipeline since 2017 when the board of YMCA decided it was time to find a larger space. So the cap at downtown Boise YMCA is expected to be completed late next year, early 2026. Until then, the current YMCA location will stay open until the new building is complete. But you're going to have a lot more places to go. Doing some laps in the pool at the YMCA, Big J, playing some basketball.
Spend some time there at the Y.
I was wondering. That was a big. I mean, it was. I think I feel like it was. If you grew up in the '80s, at some point you spent time at the Y.
The '90s or the 2000s.
Yeah.
I mean, like growing up here and going to high school, junior high, and all that. Yeah, we spent some time at the Y, swimming, doing all of that stuff.
Used to play basketball every weekend at the Y when I was in high school. Every single weekend, my friends and I would go down there and get a game and play basketball. And then I dislocated my knee, Big J, and I stopped playing basketball at the YMCA.
Can you get that thing fixed?
Listen, I need two hands and some toes to count how many times my knee dislocated. And yes, the answer is I should have gotten it fixed. Did I? No. Why? Expensive
ruined your
surgery.
entire athletic career.
Yeah.
Ruined.
Yeah. Because Lord knows I'd probably be a pro if not for my knee.
Well, no, but I mean, it may have changed the trajectory of things for you.
No, I don't think it would.
Oh, it wouldn't?
No,
Okay.
no. Look at me, man. I mean, like, what sport could I possibly play? Even if, like, picture me muscular. What sport could I play?
Not muscular, but just that you could stay involved doing it. You may have stuck with sports stuff more.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. I mean, it's cute of you to say, and I appreciate it, and thank you for believing in me. But
so cute.
Yeah, you're a cute little guy. But I don't think that that would have impacted my world. And then don't forget, Big J, I also have like 5 other body parts that also pop out all the time. So knee just
Listen,
part of the problem.
this is a family-friendly program, okay?
Oh, I can't talk about things that pop out all the time?
No.
Fine, whatever, man. Hey, for a short time, it looked like the narrative of the first 3 World Series games be played out again in Game 4. Top of the first, Freddie Freeman did something that was pretty incredible. Homered for the 6th consecutive World Series game in a row.
Yeah.
Giving the Dodgers a 2-0 lead, but things changed into the 3rd inning when Anthony Volpe blasted a grand slam to put the Yankees up for what would turn out to be good.
A lot of grand slams.
Yes, final score, Yankees 11, Dodgers 4. There will be a Game 5. That's going to happen tonight in New York, the final game that we played in New York, and we'll see if this series goes back to L.A., but the Dodgers still have 3-1, so we will see if the Dodgers can close out the series tonight in New York.
The Yankees can keep hitting it like that. It might become a series.
You know what, Big J? That's the kind of in-depth analysis you are going to get nowhere else, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Go to hell.
Hey, listen, rest in peace to Terri Garr, Big J.
Man,
She
what a
was
bummer.
an amazing actress and a wonderful comedic actress. Probably best known for things like Tootsie, Young Frankenstein.
Mr. Mom is where I knew her from.
She passed away at the age of 79. She has been battling MS for a very long time, even suffered an aneurysm in 2016. But, I mean, we're talking a 3-decade career of having a part in a ton of classic films. Even had an Oscar nomination for Tootsie. Plus, she was on a bunch of TV shows as well. She hosted Saturday Night Live 3 times, Autobiography.
Wow.
And so she was a very, very amazing and talented woman, and she certainly will be missed. And listen, if you haven't seen movies like Young Frankenstein or Mr. Mom, as Big J had, well, that's certainly more of a Michael Keaton vehicle. She is fantastic in that movie as well. And again, the Oscar nomination, it's rare anybody gets nominated for a comedy. So see her performance in Tootsie and realize how, groundbreaking and pretty amazing that was as well. So rest in peace to Terri Garr, one of the best actresses that ever put on screen, or big or small. I'll say that right now. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your first round of important stuff. It is the X Rocks. That's a funeral portrait. That is Suffocate City here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Trick-or-treating is tomorrow, Big J. Halloween is tomorrow. And I think it's probably no surprise that the number one type of candy that's going to be handed out tomorrow across homes in the United States of America is chocolate. It is the number one thing in some way, shape, or form. But for lots of different reasons, what do you think the number 2 type of candy that is handed out on Halloween is? And coming up quick on chocolate, like riding its ass.
Oh boy. Let's go with butterscotch.
No. What are you, 90?
I know, man. I was trying to tell the kid about butterscotch, and because we saw something, and it was a show about something. And I was like, oh, they've got butterscotch, and so I was trying to tell her, like, I don't know if she hasn't watched sports, so she hasn't seen the Kevin Hart and commercial with LeBron James, and he's making fun of how old he is because LeBron is old, so old playing. And he goes, what do you hand out, butterscotch to people? That's how old he is?
Yeah.
And it's hilarious.
There you go.
But no, I have no idea. God, please don't let it be candy corn.
It's not candy corn.
Okay.
It is gummy candies. They are huge.
Yeah, be careful with those.
For trick or treat, no, nobody's handing out pot gummies for Halloween. You're wasting your gummies on that. But one of the reasons is chocolate prices are so high. And their gummies, in some way, shape, or form, are starting to make a big, huge comeback. And there are different flavors, of course, so that make it busy. There's fruity, there's sour, there's all sorts of different things. And so gummy candies are coming up quick. And that is something that they want to be aware of, and they think they have a footing. Now, you're never going to top bowl of chocolate, I don't think. It's just not realistic in any way, shape, or form. There's just too much of a love for that. But it is interesting because you go back even 3 years, Big J, and gummies of any kind were like 7th, 8th on the list behind things like white chocolate and candy corn and wrapped hard candies and all these kind of things. And now you've got gummies kind of making a run at number 1. Just so you want to make sure that they do count things like licorice as gummies, but Sour Patch Kids, those kind of things, Skittles, Shriekers, there's all sorts of different gummy flavored Starburst gummies. There's lots of gummy stuff out there, and it is a big deal right now. So know that if you want to give out trendy Halloween candy, you're going to want to get into the packages of gummies for the kids.
Can't be around it, man. I'll eat them all.
You like gummies?
Oh, God.
Huh.
I can't stop eating them.
Really? What kind? Do you know?
Well, not the sour ones for sure, but they're usually the Harbo.
Oh, like the gummy bears.
Gummy bears,
okay.
Yeah. I will eat the entire package.
Man, I cannot
in
remember.
one sitting. I'll put as many in my mouth as I can get.
The last time I've had like gummy treats, I think the Yogis are about as close as I have come that you are very well familiar with, but they're yogurt covered like fruit snacks kind of a thing that the kids and I both enjoy very much. And so that's as close as I get to it, but I can understand why, and it's certainly more affordable than the world of chocolate currently. So if you want to give out something to the kids, go gummy, and go gummy all the way. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Hey, yesterday Big J watched a movie. That movie was called The Last Voyage of the Demeter, and it was a horror film on Paramount Plus. He gives us a full review and breakdown next on the X Rocks. That is Lincoln Park. That is what I've done here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Yesterday, you guys assigned a movie for Big J to watch for Screaming Dumbass, the exciting conclusion of the horror version of Screaming Dumbass. And Big J watched a movie that he actually was looking forward to. It is called The Last Voyage of the Demeter. It is on Paramount Plus. And now we find out what it's about and if it's any good, Big J.
Yeah, Nick, I knew not watching this movie right away would come into play sometime down the road for Streaming Dumbass.
Oh, yeah?
I usually save movies, and I like, it'll happen sometime, and it does. Yes, The Last Voyage of the Demeter. This movie based off of a chapter from Bram Stoker's Dracula. And if you're familiar with the movie Bram Stoker's Dracula starring Keanu Reeves, there is a scene that is kind of representative of this movie, which is kind of why I was like super interested. I thought it was a cool way to go. It's because in that, Dracula travels from Carpathia to London, and he's puts himself in some crates. And it's all on a ship. So what happens on that ship? I mean, that to me is a fun idea when you're sitting around thinking about movies that you enjoy.
Dude's got to eat, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so this movie stars a guy named Corey Hawkins. He plays a fella named Clemens, who's a doctor. And you've got Aisling Francesco. She plays Anna. Liam Cunningham, of course, you know him from Game of Thrones. He plays the captain of the ship. And David Dastmalchian plays a guy named Ojak. And you've got this crew here, and basically what unfolds is, Dracula is put on a ship in crates, and what could go wrong? It's the interesting part because it's not just straight up right away everything starts to unfold. There's clues and things that this isn't right, what's going on. This trip is kind of strange to begin with, and so you've got a lot of those things. You're just kind of waiting for it to happen, and in between there, there's jump scares and things like that, and a lot of setup of the story, and the Dracula that we get here is it's a different one than we see. He's pretty feral and pretty hungry and pretty cranky. I mean, waking up in the middle of the ocean.
If I remember from the trailer, is he much more like kind of mid-transformation, not necessarily human, not necessarily bad?
Yes.
It's kind of like a weird, like monsterish.
Yeah, almost like Nosferatu-ish kind of thing. So it's enjoyable. There's not a whole lot of gore here in this movie, but you just kind of get the story unfolding of from people's perspective that are just trying to live their life and working on a ship, and the next thing you know. Animals start dying, and then people start dying, and it gets a little crazy, man.
And is it any good though?
I loved it.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, because it's just because of the storyline, because ultimately what happens here. This is just one part of the story of Dracula.
It can't go well for the people on the ship,
right? Yeah. Though some people, someone does survive, but I mean, it's how did they get there, and why it happens, and all of that stuff seems to me really fun. And you can think of it's almost like a Dracula or vampire version of Alien, really is how this kind of rolls out in the movie.
Because they're trapped. They can't go anywhere.
They're kind of stuck with this, and they don't know what's happening. They don't understand what's here. And so it kind of unfolds. And I think that's really cool because it lends to a lot of imagination still, even though you're in this story that you know how it ends. And so I really dug that aspect of it, and I think they pulled it off and executed it pretty well. It's a little longer than it needs to be, but you can say that for a lot of movies these days, even though it's almost 2 hours here. So either way, I mean, not a bad way to go if you're a Dracula fan or you're a fan of that. I used to really love vampire movies. Twilight ruined it for me, and I just didn't get into that whole romanticism. Probably a little bit Interview with the Vampire too. It was a little too gaudy for me. But I like that kind of that old age, kind of medievalish almost storyline with Dracula and how it unfolds. So this fits perfectly in with that, and that's why I probably liked it so much.
Does it say what year it takes place in? Like it gives you an idea.
It's like the 1800s,
but it does not it doesn't clearly define.
It might. I don't remember for sure, but.
But whatever it is, it's this kind of the origin story of Dracula a little bit, how he got from point A to point B, and. To kind of be the terror that he eventually becomes. And
by the time the ship makes landfall, he's pretty much the Dracula we know.
Okay. Oh, because right, because like the blood
he's got a lot of he had some good meals on the way.
All right.
He was traveling first class, I guess.
Would you classify this as a straight up horror film, or is it a little bit more different genre?
No, it's horror.
Okay.
I mean, you got a Dracula guy flying around ripping people up.
So it sounds like it's Big J approved.
Approved, yeah.
Could this be a future Big J Halloween classic? Like something that you rewatch and revisit?
I was really bummed because Mason didn't want to watch it with me, and I thought she would be into it, but maybe because she loves the vampires of the Twilight world.
Not sparkly enough for her.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
Too real out there.
If you are looking for a good vampire movie, Big J says check out The Last Voyage of the Demeter. It is available for you to see on Paramount Plus. It is officially Big J approved. Morning After with Nick and Big J coming up. Some important stuff. It's next on the X Rock.
Spanning the globe in search of news. Important stuff.
Launch newsfeed.
On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
I know Halloween is tomorrow, and we hate to look ahead to future holidays, Big J, but one thing that is right around the corner, like it or not, is Thanksgiving.
Yeah, dinner time, baby.
And Campbell has released their 2024 State of the Sides report, Big J. And if I remember right, favorite Thanksgiving side for Big J is green bean casserole. Is that right?
Yeah.
It is a
like
recipe that you
not,
make. Yeah. Your special 3-bean casserole. Not like something that you buy out of the frozen section of things.
And I'm not using any cream of mushroom soup, damn it.
All right. What, did I accuse you of doing it?
No, but I mean, it's so lazy.
What's the secret to the Big J green bean casserole?
You got to make your own mushroom sauce.
Got it. Your own cream of mushroom sauce?
Yeah.
Got it. And not buy the stuff in the can. So, no, sorry, Campbell's. They put together this stuff yesterday. But.
Yeah, bleep you, Campbell's.
Right.
I don't want you. You ever seen it? You ever watched somebody make a recipe with that?
With Campbell's?
Yeah. It's so disgusting.
Anything that comes out, it looks very, I don't know, it's congealed, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. And it doesn't look appetizing until it's finally done. But you're saying that your cream of mushroom is a lot more aesthetically pleasing?
Yes.
Than Campbell's? All right, I believe you, dude. It wouldn't be that hard to convince me of that. I am sorry, Big J, but green bean casserole came in 4th this year, down a slot from last year's State of the Sides report from Campbell's. The number one side for Thanksgiving has been this particular thing and continues to be pretty much
mashed potatoes and gravy.
Let's see.
Dressing?
No. Yes, stuffing or dressing is number 1. Mashed potatoes number 2. Taking over green bean casserole, though, I guess it is different than mashed potatoes. Sweet potatoes coming in 3rd place this time, knocking out green bean casserole. And depending on what part of the country you're from, it definitely depends on what your favorite side are. Idaho, it's stuffing / dressing is number 1. But like Virginians love bread, South Carolina diners enjoy green bean casserole, Wyoming likes cranberry sauce, Northeasterners are more likely to include Italian dishes in their Thanksgiving spread. If you're from the Midwest, you like mac and cheese. So there's all sorts of different things. Turkey, of course, is number 1. And then there's ham coming in at number 2 for the size serving of Thanksgiving. And there's all sorts of different options you can make. Whatever Thanksgiving meal you like to be a part of and traditions you like to enjoy, have a safe and wonderful Thanksgiving. And no, there is no wrong answers. As long as you are eating to the point of almost vomiting, you're doing Thanksgiving right.
Yeah.
And you got to factor in some football there as well. That has to be part of the equation. If you're not doing that, then, of course, it's probably not Thanksgiving either. Especially now with, like, games on all day. You have to partake in some. Yankees 11, Dodgers 4. That's your final score after Game 4 yesterday, so there will be a Game 5. That game will be played tonight. The Dodgers will try again to see if they can't pick up the World Series victory. The Yankees will try to stave off elimination. Not a day goes by, Big J, where you don't look me in the eye and say, I want to be more like Aaron Rodgers. And now you have an opportunity to do so. The New York Jets.
All the time. I've said it once. I said it 1 million times.
The quarterback of the New York Jets is dealing with a lot of injuries, Big J. But guess what? He wants to put, and he is releasing a brand new supplement that he is taking to heal his body. And he says that his secret is cayenne pepper and water, Big J. He said he started drinking the stuff before the Jets' Week 8 game and calls the mixture a little fountain of youth. Of course, the way he played, you couldn't prove that.
Yeah, I was going to be like, this isn't a really good proof of performance here because you suck right now.
Now, I've heard of the cayenne pepper and water concoction before. I felt, isn't it like part of a cleanse?
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like it would be brutal.
Yeah, it doesn't sound fun.
Right.
But he thinks it works, and if you want to be more like Aaron Rodgers, then you should start using that on a regular basis, Big J. So
I heard it can replace a vaccine.
He's vaccinated. You don't have to worry about him. He's fine.
He's immune.
He's immune.
Immunity.
I have immunity. Big J, a moment of silence for the relationship of Zoe Kravitz and Channing Tatum, please. They've decided to break up. The stars called off their engagement.
Was there silent?
I know, but still,
Okay.
It matters. You didn't talk. It counts as silent.
Yeah.
The two actors began dating about 3 years ago after working together on the directorial debut of Zoe called Blink Twice, which is just out in theaters. They got engaged about a year ago. And so the crazy thing is they were just announced to be both part of a brand new movie called Alpha Gang. And I guess they're both going to be in this movie together. So I guess they must be getting along, but they are no longer part of a relationship. And so Channing Tatum's on the market. Big J, you want to take your swing? I know you're a fan.
No, thank you.
How about Zoe Kravitz then?
No, I'm married happily. Thank you.
I'm just giving you the option. They're both out there now. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There is your important stuff. Another clue in the X-Rock murder mystery, question mark?
What?
It's coming up next, exclamation point on the X-Rocks.
Stories that are incredibly f***ed up. Oh man, we're going to hell.
What the hell is this?
The Morning After with Nick and Big J on 100.3 The X Rocks.
Gentlemen of the Treasure Valley, prepare yourselves. Today's We're Going to Hell story is going to hurt.
Oh no, what happened?
We are headed to Suffolk, Virginia for today's We're Going to Hell story.
Suffolk, Virginia.
Suffolk, Virginia for today's We're Going to Hell story. And it's a story that I don't see you and I getting into this situation. We've talked about this before.
Well, we're smart.
Whenever there is a problem around our home or property, our first natural instinct is to go, what? I can't do that. I need to hire a professional that knows exactly what they're doing.
I'm the best at that.
Right. Finding a way that we can get somebody that knows what they're doing and understands how this stuff works to actually do the work, because God, man, so much can go wrong, dude, when you do that stuff yourself. And like, that's all that goes through my head. It's like, how am I going to screw this up beyond repair so that it ends up costing me more money than it should have initially if I would have just paid somebody
Because
to do
you've
it the
done
right
it
way.
before.
Yes, and I have screwed things up, and I'm
no,
like,
that's what I mean. You've been through this before.
Yes.
You know what it's like.
this is not a decision that you make just on pure instinct. It is trial and error, and you go, there are things that I'm good at and things that I'm not good at, and this is not something that I'd be good at. And for instance, if you want to trim trees around your property, there's some people that can do that kind of stuff and are very good at it, and that's fine. It depends on what kind of tree you're trying to trim, how big it is, what kind of branches you're dealing with. But anytime you have to invoke climbing a tree at a high elevation, putting together makeshift safety equipment in order to make sure that you're doing it the right way.
Wait. Makeshift safety equipment?
Yeah, like little straps and stuff around it to strap yourself to the tree so that if something goes wrong or the limb is there, it falls a particular way, and you don't know what you're doing. The I guess chance of something getting screwed up is really, really high. And that is what happens in today's We're Going to Hell story. So there is a gentleman that has some pretty secluded property there in Virginia that decided he wanted to take down a fairly large tree branch that had become tangled kind of up in the tree and had a possibility of falling onto his house. And so he's got a lot of land, and he decided he watched a couple of YouTube videos, and I'm just going to strap on like some straps to this thing so that it falls the way I want it to fall. I'm going to climb this tree. I'm going to sit up on this branch, and I'm going to cut it so that it's a little bit better, okay? Well, Big J...
at least he's got a plan.
He has a plan. Now, this plan went sideways, and it went sideways quick. Now, I have pictures of this, not video of it, but it's a big tree, and he's up there pretty high, and he's got, like, the kind of straps that you strap down like a load on your pickup on kind of thing.
Yeah, the ratchet straps.
Exactly. He is connected to the tree that he's trying to the limb that he's trying to cut off via these ratchet straps, and then he's also got the tree connected to some ratchet straps as well, so that when he cuts off part of it, it swings and doesn't fall onto his house. It kind of swings behind him. Does it make sense?
The limb.
Yes, the limb.
Okay.
He's cutting he's sitting on the limb and cutting it so the large part that's hanging out kind of goes away.
Yeah.
So there's
swings away.
Swings life away. Rise against style. Yes. And so he is on this thing, and again, I can't emphasize enough. He's in the middle of nowhere. So he's on there, and he cuts this tree, and he doesn't have the ratchet straps put together connected correctly. So as he's kind of leaning over to cut this limb, the limb gives way, and he kind of shakes a little bit because the tree also shakes with him going. And he ends up falling, hanging upside down from this tree limb that he is in. Now, that's a bad situation already. As he's hanging upside down, the tree limb that he has cut falls, and the ratchet straps that he has connected to that work correctly. The problem is the tree limb then swings to where he is swinging upside down and hits him right in the midsection.
Oh, man. Broken ribs, all kinds of stuff.
3 broken ribs, 2 collapsed testicles, and he's hanging there for 18 hours before somebody can help him. Because he's in the middle of nowhere, and nobody knew what he was doing.
Collapsed testicles?
And basically, the tree limb hit him in the junk and collapsed his testicles, and he's hanging upside down and broke his ribs as well because it hit him twice. So one hit broke his ribs, the next hit hit him and essentially crushed his junk.
He is messed up.
While he's hanging upside down.
If he screamed, it'd be like, ah!
According to him, he screamed for almost 16 hours. Finally, a neighbor that was riding by on his UTV on his property or near his property heard him, called the fire department. It took the fire department another 6 hours to get him down. They finally got him down. He's in the hospital. He's going to be okay. But all this would have been avoided if he just paid like $600 to get his tree fixed. And I bet you he thinks it's worth it now.
Bet you his testicles do.
I bet you his testicles are in a lot of pain.
Yeah. This is what worries me. This is why I never would have wanted to own land. Because it's so much work.
You don't like that middle of nowhere kind of feel, huh?
Yeah. And that worries me about my kids because they kind of want to live in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, I know you want to be able to be independent and do this stuff on your own, but it's so dangerous. Like, we're so lucky that we live in the time that we do and how close we are to medical, things when something goes wrong. But when you're out in the middle of nowhere and it's just you, I mean, that's how people, die.
Yeah, no, you're right. Early.
Before they're supposed to.
Yes. This is a situation that could have gotten not only that, but hanging upside down for that long, that's not good. There's a lot of things that went wrong here. Lots of things that went wrong here. And just be careful, everybody. And again, so just be, I get it. Sometimes you watch a YouTube video and go, I can do that. There are some things that are just better left unto the professionals, I think.
Yeah, you can see, I could do that, but I don't want to.
That's our motto.
Yeah.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your We're Going to Hell story. It is the X Rocks.
Important stuff. On the morning after with Nick and Big J.
Trick or treat, Big J.
Trick or treat.
Tomorrow's the day. It's Halloween. And boy, have I got terrible news for you if you bought your young child's costume online.
Oh.
Odds are you put them in a death trap. 80%
No!
of children's Halloween costumes that are sold online are dangerous to those younger kids, according to a report from the Product Safety and Standards Council. The office purchased costumes from online marketplaces and found that almost 80% of them were not labeled appropriately, and others were really, really flammable, Big J.
Oh, no.
The test showed that many costumes for sale, particularly those online, pose serious risks to young children. The organization encourages parents to look for labels, safety warnings, manufacturer details, and parents should also check for long drawstrings. These are things that are choking hazards and something that can be pulled out easily and all sorts of things. So keep an eye out if you buy your kids' costumes online, and make sure that everything on there is somewhat safe so that something terrible doesn't happen on Halloween, Big J, because that's how horror movies start and monsters are created. So remember that.
Yep.
So it is something that you need to pay attention to as we move forward. And that number's really high, man. 80% of costumes are not labeled correctly. The more I learn, the more I realize that almost none of these labels that we're so obsessed with having on these things and that we read are actually accurate, that it's like, why bother?
No kidding.
It certainly is something that you need to be on the lookout, especially if you have younger children. So please keep them as safe as possible. Thank you. Yankees 11, Dodgers 4. That's your final score from Game 4 of the World Series yesterday. That means there will be a Game 5, and that Game 5 will be tonight. The Dodgers will have an opportunity to wrap up the series in New York. If not, we shift back to L.A. for the final 2 games of the series, Big J. And your dream of it going 7 could still be alive. You never know.
The dream. I mean, listen, the Dodgers won 3 in a row. So could the Yankees.
Yeah. They would need to do exactly that. So you never know how it's going to shake out. We'll see what happens tonight. ESPN is going to Simpsonize Monday Night Football on December 9th between the Dallas Cowboys and Cincinnati Bengals. It will feature an alternate broadcast on ESPN Plus and Disney Plus, billed as the Simpsons Fun Day Football. Bart will be rooting for the Bengals, while Homer will be pulling for the Cowboys. Marge and Lisa will interview players. Eli and Peyton Manning will also be part of the fun. They will appear in character during the alternate cast, and announcers Drew Carter, Mina Kimes, and Dan Orlovsky will appear in Simpsons character form as they call the game on this particular side of things.
That's awesome. I'm totally going to check this out.
So December 9th is the date that you want to set in your calendars if you would like to see the Simpsonized version.
I wonder how they do this.
Of Monday Night Football. My guess is they plan far ahead like they're doing right now and have a lot of it.
I mean, they get the script for December 9th weekend for football?
You know how you've seen how they Nickelodeon it, right?
I don't know how they do that.
So what they do is they have the character, the people that voice Patrick and SpongeBob in a studio calling the game, doing that stuff. And then they have the computer-generated versions of the players, like a filter of Patrick and SpongeBob, doing the things at the actual telecast. So it's all set aside and ready to go, and it's really seamless and pretty impressive. And again, a great way to get younger kids interested in the game, so that when you're watching football, your little 4-year-old can run up to you and go, Daddy, what's CTE? And you can tell them all about it.
Jesus.
Yeah. Football, baby. And of course, Big J, if you are interested in the Squid Game version of things on Netflix, which is a very popular television show, know this: a English language version of the series is in development at Netflix with David Fincher on board. This marks the first scripted offshoot of the South Korean sensation and aligns with his kind of dark thriller aesthetic that Fincher has been involved in the last couple of years. He also has done really good movies like The Game and Seven that have that kind of same aesthetic. Details are limited. It's likely that Fincher will focus on this project in the next year, contributing to the expanding Squid Game universe alongside the unscripted reality show that's also a hit, the video game franchise that's also a hit. Dennis Kelly is also rumored to be the writer for this series, which will be set in the United States. The original Squid Game is set to return for a new season on December 26th, and I know you're not interested, Big J, but it actually was a really, really, really good season of television, and I am excited for it to come back. And I will check out season 2. And like I said, I'm not much of a reality show fan. I found myself watching that entire Squid Game reality show on Netflix as well, and I enjoyed that too. So
Look at you.
I think I'm a fan of the Squid Gameverse. I would have to say I might be.
Good for you.
And so I encourage you to join us, and I'm sure you will 4 years down the road.
No, I won't.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. We will have your Pop Culture Smackdown. That's going to be happening next on the X Rocks.
Pop Culture Smackdown. On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Up for grabs today for Pop Culture Smackdown, tickets to Monster Jam, which is happening this weekend at the Ford Idaho Center Arena. Always a good time for entire family. So get it going here. You want to get these tickets, just beat me in Pop Culture Smackdown. You can do it.
Nick Garrett can help. 208-287-1003. If you'd like to play the game, all you have to do is defeat Big J in a contest that revolves around your pop culture knowledge. Do you think you got what it takes? Do you want to go check out the Monster Trucks Crushing Cars this weekend? Of course you do. Don't be silly.
Cars.
208-287-1003.
Souls.
That's our number. God, do they do that there as well?
Yeah.
Crazy. To the phones we go. Hello, the X.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. What's your name, please?
Jason.
Jason, on the iconic television show Baywatch, who played the role of C.J. Parker?
Oh, God. What's her name?
The sexual awakening of many a young man.
Yeah, Pamela Henderson.
What a weird way to say that, but I'm going to take it.
Or Pamela Anderson.
Yeah. Big J, what was the real name of the Scarlet Witch in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Her real name.
Know that. You don't know that.
Take it easy, pal.
Yes.
You wouldn't believe the amount of knowledge in my head that it can just slip out of nowhere, and I don't even realize it. So her character's real name
Yes.
is oh man,
God, Jason is like Babe Ruth.
Romanoff.
Nope. Wrong. Nope. Not even her first
No,
name?
is that Black Widow's name? Natasha Romanoff.
That
Damn
is
it.
Black
Okay.
Widow's name. Yes.
No, I don't remember.
Well,
Give me a letter. Just a letter.
of which one? Her
Her
first,
first name.
W.
Wanda.
There you go.
Wanda Petrov.
No.
Petrov's her brother.
Yeah.
All right.
You're all over the map, buddy. But yes, I mean you're like in the area, but you're not there. Last letter, first letter of last name is M.
I don't got it.
Maximoff.
Maximoff.
Congratulations, Jason. You were right. He did know
And you
it.
mocked me at the same time.
You are
God.
going to Monster
No, I didn't
Jam.
mock you. I was trying
No,
to get you to get there.
No, you weren't. Why would you do that?
It's funny.
Oh, I don't know.
Good job, Jason. Hang on one
Dangerous
second.
game you're playing, sir.
Hang on one second. Big J is obligated by the laws of his contract to give you tickets, even though he might be angry at you. Hang on one second.
I'm not angry.
We will hook you up with those
I should have
passes
known that answer.
to Monster Jam. It's the morning after with Nick and Big J. We are going to do a run of headlines. They're next on the X Rocks. Headlines are as follows, Big J. Doing Vegas right. Batwoman. And nice job, bro.
Batwoman!
A visitor at a zoo in Germany accidentally brought home an unexpected souvenir. 30-year-old Alina Ove says she and her son returned home from a day at the Castra Zoo in Germany last week when she took off her jacket and a whole damn bat fell out of it, like a live animal, Big J.
A whole bat?
She did recall walking through the bat pavilion at the zoo, which, of course, wouldn't that be fun, right? Having bats fly around your head and hair all the time?
Yeah, that's not cool.
And figured that the flying mammal somehow used her jacket to escape. She says she called an animal expert who told her to put the bat in a box with honey water and a banana until she could bring it back to the zoo the next day, which she did. Seems like a lot of responsibility for the person.
Honey water?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's what catches. Maybe they like sweet water and some bananas. A spokesman for the zoo said the bat was returned to its habitat and is in good condition. He added that it's the first time one of the zoo's bats ever tried to escape. But, it's my understanding that catching a bat is not as difficult as they make that sound, right?
Certainly not as bad as it was in the Great Outdoors.
Right. Yes, of course. But, they're tasking her with not only catching the animal that accidentally got out, but then also caring for it for a day and then bringing it back to the zoo. It's like, hey.
You can't send somebody to go get the...
Yeah. Let's get Jeff Augusta on the line and see if a bat escaped from the zoo. Wouldn't the zoo, send out, the zoo bus and bring it back to Zoo Boise to make sure that animal is in good condition, not just leave it away
I
from
really
the
wish we had his number.
habitat for 24
He would
hours.
answer if we called him right now.
I might have his number. You're right. He would answer. Doing Vegas right or nice job, bro?
Nice job, bro.
U.S. Postal Service worker in Florida is under arrest after he decided to just cut his route short and ditch the mail in the woods. Federal authorities accused Otis McCoy of tossing more than 1,000 pieces of mail, including at least 4 election ballots, into the woods instead of in recipients' mailboxes and to the actual post office for mailing around Orlando. A coworker saw him leave the post office with a very large quantity of mail and then was surprised when he returned from his route a lot earlier than he expected and decided to alert the manager. The manager checked the GPS of McCoy's vehicle and noticed that he had traveled off his route to a wooded area where several pieces of mail were found scattered. Investigators then reviewed surveillance camera footage from nearby houses, which showed McCoy pulling up into the woods and with his van and then just tossing the mail into the trees and bushes and then getting in his van and driving away.
Yeah.
I guess that's now the new going postal, right? Just like snapping and throwing mail into the woods.
It's much better than the other post.
Concur. Wrap it up with doing Vegas right. Now, Big J, I have a confession to make. I've been to Vegas a lot. We tried once, but we failed. I've never actually gone to a legitimate Las Vegas buffet and like been there and
Yeah,
partaken.
because the line was so wrong.
Yeah.
And we had to go to another casino, or another, hotel casino. It was far away from where we were.
Were we trying to go to Caesars? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was.
And it was like a 2-hour line.
Right. And we were like, listen, we're hungry, but we're not that hungry. But I have never done an actual Vegas buffet. I did not know. Did you know they have time limits?
Probably. I mean, I didn't know for sure.
According to users, basically you have 3 hours to hang in a buffet in Las Vegas before you're asked to leave. They did a lot. A content creator named Madison was bouncing around Las Vegas and decided to test the time limit theory on a bunch of places. And sure enough, they all made her leave at 3 hours. She had, of course, great meals wherever she went. Her favorite buffet, Big J, the one at Caesar's Palace, she says. But a 3-hour time limit is what you can expect before the buffet will come up to you and go, hey, you need to leave. They have to keep tables circulating so they can have more customers flowing in instead of being at a standstill. And that the buffet apparently at Caesars is still in person. So I ask you, you ever had your time limit set at a buffet and you had to be removed?
No, but I don't think I've hit an actual buffet in Vegas either.
My God.
So
I guess as close as it came is when you and I went to the one in Jackpot.
yeah, that's the only casino buffet I've really been at.
Right. But not for lack of trying. We did try, buddy.
Right.
We just
Did we try that hard? I don't know.
No, well, we didn't have time.
Yeah,
we had other places
we were
to go.
under constraints.
Yeah.
We had to go hang out with Flavor Flav.
Morning, was that same day?
It was that same trip.
Yeah, that's for sure. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There is your headlines. You're up to date on everything. It is the X Rocks.
Here's Travis.
This is Bad Flower. That is Detroit here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. And sometimes I have a hard time wrapping my head around how coincidences happen. And about, 2 weeks ago, if that, maybe even a week ago, we were talking about how they came out with a list of cities in the United States of America that had the most rats. And you and I pontificated for 5 minutes about how we have never seen a rat in our lives in the wild and what would happen if we did. And what happened to you now?
Yeah, so and also related to that, there was a story that was circulating locally here about how there's some invasive species happening. A roof rat that's causing some issues, that kind of thing. Unusual activity around the Treasure Valley because we don't have a lot of rats around here, right?
Yeah.
So the wife and I are driving home the other afternoon, and we're going down Duff. Now Duff is kind of in there in Middleton. It's just a small thoroughfare that you have to get through in order to get to certain parts of some of the subdivisions, and it's a rural road, right? So it's 50 miles per hour. So we're getting going, and there's a couple farmhouses right there, and I see something moving on the road, and I think initially that it's a leaf or something blowing, like something loose that's blowing on the road, and then it's kind of, as we get closer, it's clear that it's moving, and I was like, oh, and it's kind of big. It's not small. But it's not like a possum. It's not a raccoon. It's not, that big. But and so we get closer to it, and the wife is like, "Oh my gosh, that's a mouse!" And I'm like, "That ain't no mouse. That's a rat." And it was scurrying pretty fast, but it was a healthy size, Nick. And I about lost my crap right then. I was like, "Oh my God, that's a rat!" And I was like, I remember this conversation they're having. I'm like, oh, that's a rat.
Ballpark it for me. How big was it?
Probably like the size of my, like that.
Like a larger potato kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was scurrying quickly across the road.
Wow.
And I almost thought about stopping, but I'm like, I don't want to get close to the
How would
rat.
you do if you stopped?
Yeah, I don't know. Just to inspect to see if it was a rat, because
Okay.
I was in disbelief about
Okay.
it. Really was the thing. And the wife was like, that's a mouse. And I'm like, that's a big ass mouse. That ain't the kind of mouse we're cleaning up around the house that you were so scared of.
Oh my God.
So that freaked me out. And I was like, we've been talking about getting dash cams for the cars. God, I wish we had one. Nick. You could have seen it. You would have seen it for your own eyes.
But it did give you the heebie-jeebies when you saw it, huh?
Not necessarily the heebie-jeebies.
Okay.
I was just like, oh, God, that's actually a rat. And because we had just been talking about that. And I'm like, this is blowing my mind right now.
So now you can say, but does she still think it was a mouse, or does she agree with you that it was a rat?
I don't know. We haven't had a follow-up conversation. She just wants to make sure that we are daily checking the live mouse traps that we have.
Yes, because how far away was this from your house? Did the rat have to go a while to get there?
We're way far away
Okay.
from,
All right.
from where that was.
Well, God knows they're underground at this point, Big J. Before you know it, you could have a whole Middleton problem of rats out there.
I mean, yeah. Well, of course, it makes sense. It's a rural-ish area.
Could also have been a
So-
pet that got out. You never know what's going on. People have pet rats.
Yeah.
It happens.
A little squeaky.
Yeah. And so now you know you've seen one and you know what it looks like. So be on the lookout for rats. Apparently they're here in the Treasure Valley and they're pissed. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Some bad impressions. They're next on the X Rocks.
Bad impressions.
So far, I'm not impressed.
On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Are you ready for Monster Jam? It's happening this weekend out at Ford Idaho Center Arena, and we're going to hook people up with tickets right now to go for free Friday evening. It'll be a lot of fun, and you'll get the wonderful sense of the fuel. It's good. And then the crushing of cars and the jumping of big trucks.
The deafening noise of the engines, Big J.
Yeah, all that can be yours if you figure out the clues here for bad impressions.
We need your help. 208-287-1003. That is the number you need to call if you'd like to play bad impressions. Big J has 3 clues. They are all pointed in the direction of somebody famous. If you can figure out who that person is in 3 clues or less, congratulations. Look at you. Going to check out Monster Jam this weekend. Big J, are you ready?
Yeah.
Then to the phones we go. Hello, the X.
Hello,
Hi, who's this?
it's Trisha.
All right, Trisha, you're up first. Good luck.
This is a fictional character, okay?
Okay.
Can you imagine a world without me? Who would eat all the chimichangas? And who would harass Marvel about Wolverine?
Deadpool.
There you go.
One and done. Good job, Trisha. Enjoy Monster Jam on us. Hang on 1 second. We'll get some information from you. Clues 2 and 3, please.
I'm the merc with a mouth and way more handsome than that pansy Ryan Reynolds. And did you watch my movie with that Wolverine guy?
I did. And why is Deadpool in the news?
Well, this morning, about an hour ago, they did Deadpool on the Deadpool Instagram site. Anyways, probably the other social medias too. They posted a urinal, Nick, and they said the best streams are coming, November 12th. And so that's when it will be streaming on Disney Plus.
God, it's so weird. It's strange to me. I guess not. I mean, it's 2 weeks warning. You would think they'd give you more lead up, I guess, to it, I suppose.
Why?
I don't know. Because, you make it an event.
It still costs like $24 online. If you want to buy that movie, video on demand, I've thought about it a couple times. I'm like, that's too much, especially when I have Disney Plus. It'll be there. I like to buy those sometimes because I don't always know and guarantee that I'm going to have Disney Plus forever. But it seems pricey to me, even though it's a great movie. But it's good to know that it's happening soon.
So now you know, if you missed it in the theater, if you're one of the 17 people that did not see Deadpool and Wolverine this summer, then know that it is coming to Disney Plus on November 12th.
It's just great because then you can watch it again and again.
And again, and again, and again, and again, and again. Morning After with Nick and Big J.
And again.
Will wrap up the show here next on the X Rocks. Sickness wrapping up the Morning After with Nick and Big J for this Wednesday. Big J gave the thumbs up and the official Big J seal of approval to The Last Voyage of the Demeter. It is a horror film featuring Dracul, and it is on Paramount Plus if you want to check it out just in time for Halloween tomorrow. It'll be a wonderful, scary movie, Big J said. So not bad. Spooky month was 2 for 2 for you. You had 2 that you liked and 2 that you didn't like too much.
Yeah.
So not a bad percentage. Those are Hall of Fame numbers, Big J, 50%.
2 of them with Malakilian.
I'm sorry?
That Mascallion. What? How do you pronounce his last name? David
Mascallion.
Mascallion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Former guest the morning after. I didn't say his name, thankfully.
No, he was just David to you. And yes, and so one more for two
One
with,
for one,
with
yeah.
David, because you did not enjoy Late Night with the Devil, but you did enjoy this last round. And of course, we also had a chance to give away some Monster Jam tickets. That will continue tomorrow. We encourage you to tune in for those if you want to go check that out at the Idaho Center Arena this weekend. And then, Big J, that'll go ahead and leave you with the floor.
Yeah, let's continue. We talked a lot about Halloween today, and this is ridiculous. It should be revoked. National Candy Corn Day. That's what today is, yeah. End it. And National Candy Corn Day.
Unless there's a National Anti-Candy Corn Day, then I can get behind it. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't. And there are people that like it,
Here's
and
the
that's
problem.
fine. I'm not here to yuck your yum.
30 million pounds each fall.
I mean, they have to buy it. People have to eat it, and some people have to enjoy it. But I feel like those people are wrong. You're just wrong.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
We're on the same page.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good, and it shouldn't be a thing. And it creeps me out, and I don't like it because when you put it together, like I didn't realize until like later on in life how it. My biggest complaint was it doesn't look like corn. It doesn't make any sense. But then when you make it like a cob, it does look like corn, and then that creeped me out. So it was another element to why I didn't like candy corn because there's something not right about that too. So go to hell, candy corn. Agree or disagree,
Yep,
Big J?
agreed.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your show. Jason Drew's coming in next. We'll see y'all tomorrow. It's the X Rocks.